What's up everyone? My name's Solo Bennett and welcome back to another Drift Tune video here on carx Drift Online. So, today I'm going to be showcasing the R32, or the Last Prince as it's known in the game. Now, in real life, I love this car. I always have. But unfortunately, it's a bit out of my price range now, when you can't even buy literally a subpar R32 these days for under $10,000. Back, like, rewind about, I don't know, 7 years ago, you could pick up one that looks like this and has an RB25 in it and is fairly decent. You could pick it up for about $10,000. Now these days you can pick up an R32 which is rough as guts, has a rusted out chassis, has a crappy engine in it, and you still are looking at least 13 to 14, possibly 15 grand for a hunk of junk which needs so much work it's not funny. It's a bit of a pain, but I would definitely love to pick one of these up in real life one day. It would be awesome. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the tune setup on this ripper of a car, because it honestly is, man. This thing, it rips. It gets super sideways, but the only thing I don't like about the car is it feels extremely loose. I've tried a few different things to try and counteract that, so you've got a little bit more feedback when you're drifting, because I really do like having the feedback, so then you can tell if the car is sledging. You need more grip in the front or the rear, whatever. I like having that, but with this car you just don't get any feedback at all, and it's just really strange. It's like drifting on the ice circuits, so it's a little bit odd in that aspect. But for tandems, it's very, very good. For getting really sideways and holding that angle, it also is very, very good. Switching is extremely fast, so if you're one of those people that love switching very, very fast, it's really good for that. It's also very good for brake drifting, as you would have seen in those little clips. I was on my brakes for the most part of that entirety of the compilation there. I was, yeah, it's just super fast. It's a very, very nice car to drift with, and with the paint scheme, very, very simple. I've just done like a little purpley greeny flake kind of design on it with a little bit of a different roof and little bits and bobs here. But anyway, let's go ahead and show you guys the tune setup for this car. Alrighty, so I think people struggle with this car the most, and the reason I don't see it around very often is because a lot of people that play this game have a set power ratio that they always run with all of their cars. So they'll have like a template, like I do myself. I have a template, but when I need to make those adjustments, I will make them for specific cars. And I think the issue with this car the most is the torque. When the torque is very, very low, it takes the car a long time to get up into those horsepower ranges. The power side of these cars, it's more of the like your top speed. So when you're in the drift, how fast can you actually drift in that drift? The torque is really how fast you can get up to that speed, and then the power will take over from there. So when you've got this car, let's say that you've got it set to 700 horsepower, which is around about what I normally push, then you've only got around 492 pounds of torque, which in real life is a fair amount, but in this game, it's not the best, and it does make the car extremely sluggish, and you will find yourself, just not quite getting to the red line. You have to adjust your gear ratios, and your car becomes slower, and it's just a pain. So I try to push it on this one to try and get my to try and get my foot-pounds of torque up a bit, at least over 500, because that's at least what I push for. I normally go about 700 horsepower with about 500 foot-pounds of torque, and I do okay with most cars like that. But with some cars where the ratio is a little bit off and is not the same, for instance this one, I'm just pushing more horsepower, which in this case, it makes the car extremely good for longer corners like East Toge. When you get out of the little S-bend area and you can get your foot down, you can hold some massive angle and you can keep up with a lot of the people on the maps. But when you get into those, you know, tighter corners, it does become a little bit of an issue, so you have to keep that in mind. You have to really use this car on specific tracks, you know, tracks with longer corners, and try and avoid the tracks which are a little bit more tight, such as Cami Road and stuff like that. It can be a little bit tricky, but you know, you can adjust those to fit your liking. There's a lot of other things you can adjust in this as well. You can adjust the height. If you don't like the height of the car, you don't have to keep it like that. It's just a little bit weird with this car, where if I go over here, it's 13 and 13 front and rear, but the back looks still like it's really high compared to the front. So you can go and crank that up if you wanted to, or you can make it lower in the back if you wanted to. It's all completely up to you. I run my toe really far out at the rear at 0.99 just for more grip in this thing, and I run it about 0.45 just so I don't get too sideways with this thing and I can kind of pull myself back in a bit. And with the camber, I know, crazy positive camber, so I'm not even going to worry about that. It's just what you got to do. If you want to be competitive and you just want to tandem in this game, and you're not too worried about realism, then, you know, cranking up the rear camber and positive camber, because normally I would run possibly about 130, 1.3 in the rear, but some cars, man, you can run like 3.5 or even 4 in camber, but it looks a bit jank, but it still gets the job done. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this build. Let me know your feedback in the comment section below. Even if you want to see a livery design for this car, I'll be more than happy to do it, but I already have one on my channel. I'm pretty overdue for a new one, so I might make a start on that and get a new one out for you guys. But that's going to be it for me today, guys. Sorry for the rambling, but yeah, I'll catch you in the next one. Hopefully you enjoy this build. Peace.